anti-Semitism, hostility toward or discrimination against Jews as a religious, ethnic, or racial group. But how could this hostility have spread throughout so many people? When did anti-Semitism begin, and what was the main event in history which led to the Holocaust? Some believe that it began in 72 AD when the Romans expelled the Jews from Palestine. Others argue that it originated when the Jews were blamed for the death of Christ by the Christians. Although its starting point cannot be pinpointed, it's safe to say that anti-Semitism has been present for thousands of years. And although this certainly wasn't the starting point of anti-Semitism, many still view April 20th, 1899, in Braunau am Inn, Austria, as the moment in history which would lead to the Holocaust. This was the date and location in which Adolf Hitler was born. But how could a normal man like Hitler come to acquire so much power, and how did he use his power to exterminate 6 million Jews? It began in 1919, when Hitler joined a small nationalistic group of idealists, comprised of about 40 people, called the National Socialist German Workers' Party. By 1921, through his powerful talent at gaining supporters through his speeches, he imposed himself as the chairman of the group. By this time, he had gained over 3,000 followers. He created a new name and symbol for his party, thus creating the Nazi name and the swastika. This is footage of Hitler introducing the new Nazi flag with the swastika on it.
The belief that they were members of a master race.
By 1930, the Nazi vote jumped from 810,000 to 64 million. Having so many supporters, it is no wonder that on January 20th, 1933, Hitler was elected Chancellor of Germany. The Germans were extremely happy.
From across the way, Hitler appears at his window, and another milestone is marked in Germany's political history.
From this point, Hitler moved with great speed towards the Nazi goal of eliminating the Jewish race. Hitler began by boycotting Jewish shops. Nazi spokesmen claimed that the boycott was an act of revenge towards the Jews who had criticized the Nazi Party. The Star of David was painted across the doors of thousands of businesses, and signs were put up all over saying, "Don't buy from the Jews." Hitler enforced his idea by passing a law which allowed only the Aryan race to work in civil service. Thousands of Jews were fired from their jobs and replaced by Aryans. Hitler proceeded to create a set of laws which prohibited marriage between Jews and non-Jews, prohibited Jews to work with non-Jews, and stripped them of their German citizenships. These laws were called the Nuremberg Laws. In a continued effort to eliminate all Jewish influence, the Nazi regime began to hold book burnings. Book burnings were rituals held in public in which any books or written materials that were even mildly related to the Jewish race were destroyed. Later that year, the yellow star was introduced. All Jews were forced to wear one on their clothes so that they could be easily distinguished. Only 2 months after being elected, Hitler opened his first concentration camp in Dachau, Germany. Through the years, Hitler would open the doors of over 15,000 other concentration camps all over Europe. Some of the major camps included Auschwitz, Buchenwald, and Bergen-Belsen. Auschwitz, located in Poland, is the most well-known concentration camp because this camp exterminated the largest number of European Jews. It was also the largest camp, so large it was divided into 3 different sections: Auschwitz I, Auschwitz II, and Auschwitz III. Altogether, these 3 major sections of the camp had 49 subcamps. While other camps were merely holding places or work camps, Auschwitz was primarily focused on extermination. Within the 5 years it was open, it killed 1.5 million people through the forced labor, starvation, gas chamber, and the crematoria. In Germany, The hatred towards Jews among the people had come to a turning point. On November 9th, 1938, about 400 Jews were murdered, 20,000 Jews were arrested and sent to camps, thousands of synagogues were burned, and the windows of Jewish shops all over Germany had been smashed through. This all happened in one extremely violent night, called Kristallnacht. Kristallnacht is often referred to as the Night of Broken Glass. The Holocaust lasted for about 7 years, and it finally ended after the Germans were defeated in World War II. Russia and the U.S., who were called the Allies, worked to release prisoners in the camps between 1944 and 1945. The Germans finally surrendered and freed all of the prisoners after Hitler committed suicide. The Holocaust, which literally means sacrifice through fire, was perhaps the darkest time in history, and it's our job to make sure that nothing like it ever happens again.